You might have heard of Denzel Dumfries.
Oh, yeah, definitely heard of him, but
I feel like there's so much more to him than just like the highlights you see, you know?
yeah,
And we're going to really get into that today.
for sure.
So you've got his Wikipedia page,
Of
obviously.
course.
Got some recent articles about him and his recent contract extension.
Oh, wow.
And then even a press release from Inter Milan.
Nice. So we're going all the way back to the source with that one.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm excited to really go beyond just the basic bio and like get into like what makes this guy tick, you know, what makes him such a compelling player both on and off the pitch.
Yeah. I think what's so interesting about Dumfries is that his story, it's not like a straight line to success, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely not.
There were definitely some roadblocks early on in his career.
Yeah, from what I was reading, he was actually rejected by a few local clubs when he was first starting out.
Really?
Yeah, like they basically said he wasn't good enough.
Wow. And now look at him.
I know, it's crazy, right? Like playing for Inter Milan,
One of the top clubs in the world.
it's like wild.
It really shows you that talent isn't always everything. You know, sometimes it's about that drive, that persistence.
Totally. And there's actually this anecdote about how after he got rejected, he like basically had to force his way onto another team.
Oh, wow. So he was already showing that determination as a kid.
Yeah, like this crazy story about how he basically had to like sign himself up or something.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so like that tenacity is like we see it throughout his whole career.
For sure. And, you know, you mentioned his name, Denzel.
Yeah.
And I always found it so interesting that his parents named him after Denzel Washington.
I know. Did you know that before we started researching this?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, because I didn't. And I was like, what?
That's awesome.
And it's like, I don't know if it's like, you know, subconscious or whatever, but it's like Denzel Washington is such a powerful presence,
Right.
like in everything that he does.
Yeah, totally.
And then you see that same like kind of energy from Dumfries when he's on the pitch, you know?
Absolutely. There's like a certain charisma to both of them.
Yeah, like a star quality.
Totally.
So, okay, so back to the beginning. So he starts out in Rotterdam, right?
Right.
Overcomes these early rejections that we were talking about.
Uh-huh.
And then he makes his professional debut with Sparta Rotterdam in 2014.
Okay.
And just 2 years later, helps them get promoted to the Eredivisie,
Wow.
which is the top Dutch league.
That's huge.
And on top of that, he wins the Eredivisie Talent of the Year award.
So basically the best young player in the second highest Dutch league.
Exactly.
That's incredible. What a meteoric rise.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But even with like, you know, that quick success, there were still some bumps along the way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like when he was at Heerenveen, there was that incident with Mirkin Locadia.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about that.
Yeah, it was a controversial moment for sure. And
Mm.
although Locadia was cleared of any wrongdoing, it just shows the kind of pressure and intensity that comes with professional football, you know?
For sure, for sure.
And even with that kind of hanging over him, Dumfries continued to excel.
Yeah, and then he moved to PSV Eindhoven in 2018, and that seems like it was like a major turning point in his career.
Yeah, PSV was where he really blossomed. You know, he became team captain,
Uh-huh.
led them to the Johan Cruyff Shield final.
Oh.
It was really impressive.
And the way that the Dutch media like talked about him during this period was really fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like at first they kind of had their doubts,
Okay.
but then as he consistently performed well, they completely changed their tune.
Right.
And there's this quote that I read where they compare him to Bitcoin.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like initially undervalued, but ultimately worth the investment.
That's a perfect analogy.
And it makes sense because, you know, he wasn't always the most like flashy player or anything.
Yeah.
But like you couldn't deny his hard work and his determination.
Right.
And it paid off because he earned a spot on the Eredivisie Team of the Year.
Which is a huge honor.
Absolutely a huge accomplishment.
But you know, it wasn't all sunshine and roses.
Right.
There were still those who criticized his playing style,
Uh,
saying that he was too aggressive, maybe even reckless at times.
yeah, I've heard those critiques as well,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm curious to get your take on it. Do you think there was any validity to those criticisms?
Well, I think it's more complicated than just calling him reckless.
Yeah.
He definitely plays with an intensity that can be a double-edged sword.
Uh-huh.
But what impressed me was that he didn't shy away from those criticisms. He acknowledged them and really worked to refine his game.
That's great.
Yeah, it showed real maturity and a dedication to improving.
Which probably caught the eye of the Dutch national team.
It definitely played a part.
Because remember, he had that short stint with the Aruba national team?
Oh, yeah, that's right, back in 2014 because of his Aruban heritage through his father.
Yeah. So I wonder what made him ultimately choose to represent the Netherlands.
Well, it wasn't an easy decision, that's for sure.
Right.
You know, there was some backlash back in Aruba with some people even calling him a traitor.
Oh, wow.
But for Dumfries, it seemed like it was about representing the country where he was born and raised.
Yeah.
The place where he developed his football skills, you know?
That makes sense.
And on the international stage, he really exploded, especially during Euro 2020.
Oh, man. His performance in that tournament was incredible.
It was a breakout performance for sure.
Those crucial goals, his energy, like he was everywhere.
Yeah, he was all over the pitch.
And he helped the Netherlands reach the knockout stage. It was amazing.
And for me, it wasn't just the goals. You know,
Really?
it was his tactical awareness, his ability to read the game and make those decisive runs forward.
Oh, interesting.
It wasn't just raw talent. It was like intelligence on the pitch.
So he's like a thinking man's footballer.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's what makes him so fascinating. He's more than just a right back, you know?
Yeah.
He's almost a hybrid player, blurring the lines between defender and attacker.
Okay, so that's what we're going to explore further as we dive into his time at Inter Milan.
Let's do it. And that Euro 2020 performance basically launched him, you know, like right into the spotlight.
Yeah.
And he ended up signing with Inter Milan.
One of the biggest clubs in the world.
Exactly. And they were the reigning Serie A champions when they signed him.
So much pressure.
Think about that pressure, like coming into a team like that
Oh my gosh, yeah.
with such a winning legacy.
And he totally delivered, though.
He did. He really did.
He helped them win another Serie A title.
Back to back.
Crazy.
It's one thing to perform well, but to do it in a new league.
Whole new country.
Yeah, totally new environment.
A lot to adapt to.
For sure. And he did it seamlessly.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he recently extended his contract with Inter.
To 2028.
Yeah, so that was big news.
Huge news.
Especially with all the rumors about him going to the Premier League.
Oh, yeah, there were a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, those big Premier League clubs were sniffing around.
But he chose to stay in Milan.
Which I think says a lot, you know?
For sure.
Like, he could have easily chased the bigger paycheck.
And let's be real, he got a nice pay raise with that extension.
Oh, yeah, he's making bank now.
Like something like 4 million euros per season.
Yeah, something like that.
But I don't think it was just about the money.
I agree with you there.
He seems to have really found a home at Inter.
Yeah, he's respected there. He's valued.
And the club clearly sees him as a key part of their future.
No doubt about it.
So that brings us to like, okay, what makes this guy so good on the pitch?
Right.
Like, we've talked about his journey, all the ups and downs.
State resilience.
Yeah, but like, let's get into like the nitty gritty of his playing style.
Okay, yeah.
We've been saying he's more than just a right back. What does that actually mean?
Well, most right backs, you know, they're focused on defending.
Yeah, shutting things down.
Exactly. But Dumfries, he's almost like an extra attacker out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's not content just sitting back waiting for the ball to come to him.
So he's proactive.
Very proactive. He's constantly pushing forward, overlapping with the winger.
Making runs into the box.
Yeah, delivering crosses. It's like having another striker on the field.
But one who can also defend.
Exactly, he can do it all.
It reminds me of those classic Brazilian fullbacks.
Like Cafu?
Yeah, Cafu, Roberto Carlos.
Yeah, those guys were dangerous going forward.
And there's this great quote that I read.
Oh, yeah.
Someone described Dumfries' playing style as being like an elephant.
An elephant.
I know it sounds weird.
That's a unique comparison.
But then when you think about it, it kind of makes sense.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because elephants are powerful, relentless, almost impossible to stop once they get going.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
And that's what Dumfries is like on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
His stamina is incredible. He never stops running.
Yeah, he's got that engine.
And that physical presence just makes him so difficult for defenders to deal with.
It's intimidating.
For sure.
But, you know, it's not just about the physicality.
Right.
He's also a very smart player.
Yeah.
There's a tactical intelligence to his game that I think sometimes gets overlooked.
It's not just running up and down the flank.
No, it's about knowing when to make those runs, when to hold back.
When to deliver that killer pass.
Exactly. He's reading the game, anticipating the next move.
So he's like a chess player out there.
Yeah, you could say that.
I love it.
And that's what sets him apart from a lot of other attacking fullbacks.
Okay, so we've talked about the player. Now let's talk about the person.
Right.
Like, who is Denzel Dumfries when he's not on the pitch?
Well, from everything I've read, he seems like a really genuine guy.
Yeah.
With strong values.
Okay.
He's a devout Christian.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there have even been stories about him praying with his teammates before matches.
Really?
Yeah, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it shows like a certain humility. you know?
Uh-huh.
Like recognizing that there's something bigger than just the game.
For sure.
And he's also been very vocal about his stance against racism,
Yeah, using his platform to promote understanding and inclusion.
which is awesome.
It is. And then, on a more personal level,
Okay.
he comes from a very interesting family.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, he's got 2 cousins who are professional kickboxers.
What?
Yeah. Imagine those family gatherings.
Oh, my gosh.
Intense.
So are we going to see Denzel in the ring anytime soon?
I don't know about that.
But it seems like family is really important to him.
Absolutely. And he recently became a father for the first time.
Oh, wow. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, big congrats.
So it's like he's got this fierce competitor side on the pitch, but off the pitch.
He is a family man.
Yeah, a man of faith.
Someone who's trying to make a positive difference in the world.
Yeah, it's a pretty compelling combination. Okay, so we've covered like a ton of ground here. His whole journey all the way back to Rotterdam, his incredible success at Inter Milan, that unique playing style.
Right.
We even got into his faith, his family, like all of it.
The whole picture.
Yeah. So for someone who's like listening to this and maybe learning about him for the first time, like what's the takeaway?
I think his story really highlights the power of hard work and determination.
Yeah.
Like he had those setbacks early in his career, right? But he never gave up on his dream.
Classic underdog story.
Exactly.
And it makes it so much sweeter when he proves everyone wrong.
Totally. And it's not just that he made it, it's
Yeah.
how he plays the game, that energy,
The elephant in the room.
There it is again. Can't let that one go.
But it's true. Like, he's got that unstoppable force about him.
And then on top of that, he's so smart about how he plays.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about before, his tactical awareness.
Reading the game, knowing when to make those runs.
Yeah.
It's not just about physicality.
Right.
There's a real intelligence to his game.
Okay. So more than just an attacking fullback.
Oh, yeah, for sure. What would you call him then?
He's a game changer.
Ooh, I like that.
Someone who can just shift the momentum of an entire match.
Just with his presence.
Exactly. And it's contagious.
Yeah, like I bet his teammates feed off of that.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's like setting a new standard for what a modern footballer can be.
I don't know about setting a standard.
Okay.
Everyone's unique, right? But he definitely embodies this trend that we're seeing in modern football.
Okay, what's that?
Versatile players who can impact the game in so many different ways.
Multi-dimensional.
Exactly. He's a defender, he's an attacker, he's a leader.
And an inspiration, we were saying.
Right.
Okay, so looking ahead, Inter is clearly building a team around players like him.
Uh-huh.
Do you think he can lead them to a Champions League title?
That's the ultimate goal, right? The Champions League.
Yeah.
It's a different beast.
For sure.
It takes a special kind of leader to win that trophy.
So you're saying he has the potential?
I think so.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see what he does next.
Me too.
I'm sure it'll be exciting.
He's definitely a player to watch.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about Denzel Dumfries.
Me too.
It's been awesome.